Hello dear viewers, welcome back and welcome and thank you to all my new subscribers. Absolutely delightful and inspiring to see my subscriber numbers go up. This is another weekly tarot reading for the sign of Sagittarius. But it can apply to anyone who sees this video and should apply from the week that you see it. Gonna start with, what are you dealing with? How are you dealing with it? And what's going on the inside? What's going on? It's as if you're trying to avoid looking at, thinking about something that's going on in your life. Because let's get some clarity. What it is you're trying to avoid looking at is because it's quite upsetting to you. You don't want to deal with it. But the result of this is that because you're not looking at it, because you're not facing the facts, it's preventing you from being able to set things up in your life. To keep things moving forward, to be able to bring new things in, to be able to make space. It's very protectionary energy, and Three of Wands reversed. With you not being able to make room for this, how to put it into words? Because you're not looking at it, and because you're not making room for it, you don't want to look at it because it's upsetting to you, and so you're avoiding looking at it. But because you're avoiding looking at it, that's causing you to disconnect from the entire situation. Because you're disconnected from the entire situation, it's now very uninspiring to you, because you now are put kind of in a state of hopelessness. Right? Because what you want isn't going the way you want, and so you're moving on, but what is there to move on to? Not much. Eyes to the ground, right? You're trying to enjoy You're trying to enjoy what you have. Because what else is there to enjoy? And there's nothing wrong with joy. But it's a very stalled energy. In fact, you're almost taking on everything yourself. Because it doesn't look like it's going your way. And so fine, I'll do it myself. Which is fine. It's kind of tough. Kind of a hard way to live. Because, you know, it's good to do everything yourself, but it's also nice to have some things done for you. And it's kind of heartbreaking overall, their situation. It's very unsatisfying. It's like when people ask you, how's your life? You'd be like, something similar to. Honestly, I couldn't imagine nothing works out. Nothing's worked for me. I didn't get what I want. That's fine. You know, everything I do have control over, I do well. You know, I do well for myself. But everything I don't have control over isn't going my way. Things are just falling apart, but they're not starting. Right, because we have Ace of Cups clarified by the Tower and the Three of Pentacles. So, how are you dealing with all of this? You're dealing with not looking at the thing that's upsetting you by kind of disconnecting from your deepest desires. Kind of, it's more you're moving away from what feels good because it looks bad. Because it's not going the way you want. And I'm not saying you're wrong. Like, it is what it is. You're on the path that you're meant to be on. Right? You didn't make mistakes. Life is a learning situation. The situations you find yourself in, you might have felt like you failed them, but no, it's not the case that you failed them. You understand? The situation was that way in order for you to make the mistake or do the wrong thing, in order for you to learn from it. You understand? Later on, down the road, when you're ready for it, it will present itself in a way where you can make good for it. But right now, it's being presented because you need to learn from it, whatever you're learning. That's in general. Because you're not... Okay, so you're not looking at it because it's upsetting you. And then because you're kind of moving away from the upset, right? Because you're not facing whatever it is about the situation that you don't like. It's like forcing you to become really confused about what you want. Like, really confused about what your heart's desire is. Really confused about what will satisfy your soul. Because this upsetting aspect, you're disconnected from it. Now, overall, you're taking on a very Queen of Swords energy, right? You're cutting things off. You're very sharp. You're very quick. You know, if people try to mess with you, they're gonna get cut, right? They're gonna get cut off, or you might throw something very sharp at them. You know, people might think you're being really edgy. You understand? And they're not wrong, because you are cutting stuff off that you don't like, right? You are doing that. You are maintaining control over your life and disconnecting what displeases you. This Four of Wands, gonna clarify. Three of Pentacles reversed and Seven of Swords. You're like stuck in a rut. Yeah, you're like stuck in a ditch. Your life must feel very limited. Like there's nothing to do. There's like no way to get out of it. You only have what you have and you don't know how to get anything else. You're like, I can't go here. Because I don't have this. I can't go there because I don't have this. I can't move because I don't have a car or I don't have money or whatever. You're like, I getting some points to be like, I don't even know how to think about what's going on anymore. Which is strange because, like, it's contradictory, right? Because the situation is something that you've chosen to cut yourself off from. But now you're in a situation where yeah, there's not much to do. It's just wake up, do my chores, and then go to sleep, right? It's like your chores, or it's like your job, or it's like whatever. But you know what I mean? Like that's it, right? There's nothing to do. There's nothing to work on. This Hierophant can mean a lot of things. All the cards in tarot can mean a lot of things. If they were so easy to divide up, you have a lot of Okay, I'll try to sum this up and then move on to the next card. This Hierophant in reverse. Are you expecting someone to do something for you while you have them cut off or blocked? No, I'm not saying they won't do something for you if you've cut off or blocked them. Because, you know, you might have found yourself in a situation where you did stuff for people even though they were cutting off you or blocking you. But are you expecting them? Could be for a job, an opportunity. Could be for a family relationship. Are you expecting something that you're not providing into? Are you expecting reciprocation now that you've cut yourself off from it? And then with a broken heart comes like depression, a lack of motivation. Overall, the situation is demotivating you. Why is it demotivating you? Because you still feel connected to it. For a lot of you, this will be a relationship. Because you still feel connected to it. And yet you're trying to disconnect yourself from it. And that's a contradiction. A contradiction is the opposite of balance, right? Because when things are balanced, like in a sailing boat, when you power the sails up, the boat will tilt. And then when you counterbalance that tilt, right, and you re-achieve balance, the boat then moves. You understand? That's like how it works. Is the wind tilts the boat and then you untilt it, and then you understand? The opposite of this is if, like, your sails are going one way. The opposite of this is if instead of balancing with your weight, you let the boat tip, and what happens with boats when they tip is they start to turn, and then, right, instead of balancing it out, you then use the steering wheel to counteract that turn, right? That's a contradiction, because the sails through the balance are pushing the boat one direction, and then your steering wheel is trying to push it the other direction, you understand? And the two forces are antagonizing each other. Kind of like a square in astrology, if you know the aspects. The two forces are antagonizing each other. It's a lot of wasted energy, because the energies, instead of flowing, are now opposing. Instead of working together, they're now working against. Okay, and then what's going on in your inner world? Which might explain why you're taking this approach. If you're out of control in your life, it's probably the one of few things you can control. You feel undisciplined. You think possibly too weak. Always remember, if I am wise, one way to think about things. If you are wise, it is because God has given you wisdom. Right? If you have learned something, it's because God gave you that experience. But especially, if you are strong, it is because God gave you strength. And if you are weak, it is because God gave you weakness. Right? Don't take it personally. Don't feel bad if you're weak. Don't think other people are better than you because they're strong. It's not about that. Now, you think that the destabilizing effect, the upset, the hurt, is not something you can handle. And maybe you're right. We will get to advice at the end. You're cutting off this situation. Yeah. I mean, because it really hurts, or because it reminds you of something that hurts. You don't know what you... The situation feels samey. It feels like nothing is coming into your life. Feels like nothing started. Feels like it's hard to get motivated for stuff because something that you're not seeing, not feeling. Yeah. It's looking like, we'll see when we get to advice, but it's looking like you might need to reconnect with what you're disconnecting from. Another very contradictory energy. You're taking all this control in your life. Because yeah, it's because you don't think what you want to do will work. So you're doing everything that you know will work and avoiding the things that you think won't work. Right? You're moving away from the things, the plans, the thoughts. What should I do? I think I should do this. You'd be like, that's crazy. That doesn't work for me. I've done that before. Whatever. Am I saying your idea will work? No. At least not yet. But understand that a lot of this trying to hold up the world, right, is a lot of this, I feel like I have to do everything, is also a bit of, because I feel like I can't actually do anything, or I don't think I can do what I want. So I'm going to focus on what I know I can do, but, you see the issue? It's not what you want. It's not just, it's interesting, very hopeful, very positive. Things are not just going bad because you're disconnecting from this aspect, this relationship, situation, whatever. No. Things are also happening in the background. Your angels are also doing work. But it looks like everything's falling apart. Does it mean that it is? No. Not for the worst. You understand? For the better. Maybe things are falling apart, but not everything. You understand? The Lord watches and cares for all his children. Can we get some advice? Okay. We want change, right? Don't necessarily want to be the ones to have to do it. But as long as you are willing to participate, you don't have to take on the world, but in my experience especially, everything the Lord does for you he does with you. You participate in it. Alright, pay attention. Yep. Reconnect as much as you can. If you can only do a little bit, you only need to do a little bit. But move in that direction, right? If what you're avoiding looking at to begin with, all you have to do is sleep on it and be like, dear Lord, or however else, dear angels, dear spirit, dear higher self, prepare me, give me strength so that soon I can make steps to face this thing that I'm avoiding. You see? I'm not even saying you have to face it if it doesn't feel right. If it doesn't feel right or if it's uncertain, then you can ask yourself, your higher forces, whatever it be, to prepare you so that in the future you can be ready to approach it. Okay. Second advice. Be prepared for things. For those of you who are disconnecting from a situation because you feel like you've been in it before and it hasn't worked out for you, start preparing yourself for the case if it might work out for you. Am I saying it will? It doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, I kind of am. It doesn't matter because I'm not necessarily go out, make a leap of faith. No. What I'm saying is just start opening yourself up to the possibilities that this time it could go in your favor. Be ready for it to go in your favor. Right? Because if it does go in your favor, well, you're probably going to want to change up your strategy a little bit, aren't you? I think I know what this is saying. When you do open up to this situation that you're disconnecting yourself from because it's upsetting, whether it fixes itself immediately or afterwards, either way, you will have to heal the upset. Ask for strength. Prepare yourself for the possibility that it might go your way, and prepare yourself for the possibility that it might not go your way. You see? This is why it's good not to just jump into it. Because do you want to be strong enough that you can handle this not going your way, and it not hurt, and it not be destabilizing, and it not be upsetting? Because if you do want to be strong enough that a situation like this cannot go your way, and it not be destabilizing, and not be upsetting, then now is a good opportunity for you to work on that. Because this is a situation, let's be honest, that you can connect or disconnect from the situation, but you can't directly connect how the situation is going to go. Be it, you know what I'm saying? You can open yourself up to the situation, but you don't have so much control over if the situation will go the way you want to or not. So, for now, before you've opened up to it, while you're preparing, use it as an opportunity to ask your higher forces, ask those things outside of you. And it's very important to ask things outside of you when doing magic, okay? Because it is humble to do so. To take all the credit for your magic, even if it's the case, and I don't particularly know that it is, because one of the key things about magic is it doesn't always go the way you want, you know what I'm saying? It's not like physics or a car or something like that. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. That's fine, so be it. So, ask whatever things that you believe in that are greater than you, larger than you, for help in healing, so that you can handle any outcome of the situation without losing your cool, without being upset, without anything in your life falling out of balance. Two more. Okay. In general, it's saying count your blessings. In particular, it's saying don't be envious. Clarified by the magician, right? Which is Mercury, right? And Mercury is mind. So it is important, your state of mind in the situation. It will influence the outcome now and in the future. So jealousy or envy or the like, the kind of traditional values, you know, the kind of things where someone says, well, you shouldn't be envious, and you're like, well, obviously. It's a good time to work on those if they're coming up. And finally, this is last suggestion, something I've already said before, and an absolutely delightful message to end on, right? A caring connection, clarified by the Six of Wands, and the Six of Wands in this deck is literally victory. So be prepared to win. If not now, then in the future. If not this situation, then the one. Prepare yourself for things to go your way. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to support me, you can leave a like. If you'd like to see more, you can subscribe. I very much appreciate both of those. If you have any questions, any comments, if you have something very specific about your situation that's really on your mind, I'll be paying attention to the comments.